Hey everybody. How's that sound? Is that background music too loud? Welcome back. We're on the other side of early access launch, and yeah, I mean nothing's really changed. It's funny, right? You expect kind of everything's gonna be different on the other side, you know? I'll feel different when on my next birthday. It's all pretty much the same. It is nice though to get that behind me and start doing the next phase of everything. It is nice to be on the next phase of things. So I've got a bunch of bugs. Well, I mean, maybe you noticed first of all, I was using Notion for organizing everything. But I moved back to Trello. There's something about Notion it's okay. I like it. But for project management stuff, Trello's better. I mean, for me. But you see all this stuff, all these bugs. So, group of friends were playing it, and they were trying to speed run it, and they broke it in a bunch of weird ways. And then I've got some bugs here that turned up from not weird, but Steam configurations that are different than my Steam configuration from actual people who've bought the game. That's fun to say. People have bought the game. And thank you to everybody who has bought it, by the way. It means a lot. It really does. But there are some bugs. The big one being there's a double input bug for some players. And I've been able to reproduce this. I'm not sure how to fix it yet. There's going to be a lot of boring troubleshooting figuring this one out, so I'm not going to do it on stream. Instead, today I'm going to cover some of these easier bugs, I guess. I don't know if they're going to be easier, but I think these will be more interesting, less banging my head against the wall kind of a problem. Yeah. And some feature changes as well. Yeah, there was one crash. We were playing it for 3 or 4 hours, something like that, and there was only one crash. That's actually really good. I don't know that I'm not going to be able to fix that one right away. But one of them found this weird problem where what I think is happening is that there's a hidden enemy and it's moving around when it shouldn't be. And so it spawns in the wrong position. There's a tractor beam bug. Sometimes the tractor beam will come on and stay on even though it's not connected to anything. And this is the most important of these broken things, because if you're trying to speedrun the game or you're trying to get an S rank and you restart in the middle of the level, sometimes the coin count doesn't reset correctly, which makes it impossible to get the S rank. So I've got to fix that one. But first, I'm just going to tackle these in order. Escape key, activate the pause menu. So at some point, I removed this, and I'm not sure when or why. So I'm going to search here, my Git history, and see if I can find where I removed that. Here's where I added it. Escape to pause. Pause. Maybe it was in here. Hey, Robert. How you guys doing today? So it wouldn't be in here. I'm looking for, oh, you know what I should do? I should look in the file where the change would be, right? It would be in, project. It would be in here, because this is where all the key mappings are. And then it would be in, is there a way to, here we go. View file history. Hey, Albert. Welcome, and thanks for the follow, buddy. Update screenshots. Fix bug and campaign chooser on first run. Control, focus, art. This had to have been pretty recent. Maybe... oh boy, this is going to be impossible to find. I may not find it. This goes all the way back to the beginning of the year. I think it had to be more recent than that. Maybe I did it in here for some reason. I was just trying to find the reason why I removed the escape key from being able to pause the game. And I guess maybe it doesn't matter because I need to put it back anyway, but I would like to know what the reason was. Because maybe I had a really good reason. But maybe I didn't. Maybe it was just an accident. It doesn't matter. I just need to change it back. And then we'll deal with the problems as they come. Oh, yeah. Thanks, Albert. I'm happy to see a Godot game getting released on Steam as well. Especially mine. I'm not the only Godot game that's released on Steam. Lots and lots of other ones have. But yeah, I am happy that it's out there. Thank goodness. All right, so what do I need to do? Let's see. It would be in the key map. Oh my lord, do you hear that dog barking? I'm watching my sound levels here. Wow, that dog. My neighbor's dog. I'm glad you can't hear it. Sometimes he'll get barking and just not stop for just hours. I can't search these, can I? Toggle pause, P. So if I just add a key, escape, right? Am I using the escape key anywhere else? I am, for canceling things. That's fine though. Because I'll be checking UI cancel some places, and I'll be checking pause other places. I might need to check that if... yeah, I might need to check. Because I don't want, like, if you're... I'm thinking about, like, the dialogue appearing. So if you're playing the game and dialogue's appearing, some people might push escape just to make it go away. You probably don't want to pause the game. But sometimes they would want to pause the game. Let's just try it and see what happens. All this UI stuff, it's sometimes difficult to think about. Oops, sorry. Let me turn that down. Actually, let's just start here because this has some dialogue. Oh, what is going on? Oh, that's weird. There we go. Sorry about that. That was strange. I was playing around with my OBS setup, and for whatever reason, I don't know. All right, so escape works, right? Pause, unpause, pause, unpause. That's perfect. But it is not making this go away, right? Which is actually okay. Escape's not doing anything right here because the game is paused on this dialogue, which is also okay. I need to do a related UI thing with the dialogue, because using X to get rid of the dialogue seems to be universally disliked when you're playing with mouse and keyboard. It's fine with gamepad, but keyboard and mouse people don't like. Here's where we'll die. Yeah, I do like that better with the escape for the pause. I don't know why I changed that. Okay, so let's handle both problems at the same time because they are related. Yeah, that pause effect is a shader. Let me show you. I'll show you. Show you how it works. So, wha-bam, right? How it pixelates everything. Kind of makes it really low resolution, right? So what that is let me just bring up my pause scene. The pause scene has a background, okay? And this background covers the entire window, right? And that background has a material shader, this shader. Excuse me. Very, very simple, small shader with a pixel size uniform. Uniforms and shaders are like variables that you can pass in. Defaults to 4. And then basically it does some math here to figure out the coordinates of every pixel on the screen, and it sort of samples the texture. So these two lines together, what it's doing is it's taking it's transforming the UV coordinates of the entire screen so that it's smaller than it actually is by this factor, right? This pixel size factor. And then it samples that texture with that UV and puts it into this background. So it basically takes everything in the game, pixelates it, and puts it into this background image, right? That's what the fragment shaders do. So pretty simple. This actually, a lot of this code I think came from, there's a pixelated shader that comes in the Godot demo project that you can see. But very, very simple. And then this uniform, what I'm doing is with the animation player. It actually is just animating that uniform. And it starts out at pixel size of 1 and it goes up to pixel size of 12. And so as the pixel size changes, that's where it gets that effect, right, of it becoming pixelated. In the scene too, I don't know, you can't hear it because I turned off the music, but it also does me show you the code. It does a thingy where it gets the music bus, the music audio bus, and it adds a low pass filter to the audio bus when the game is paused, and then removes the filter when the game is unpaused. So the music kind of goes into like, it still keeps playing, but it kind of gets muffled, you know, like you're hearing it through, like you're in the bathroom at the club, and you can hear the music far away. So pretty simple, just a couple of small techniques. But yeah, it looks nice. I agree. I like the way it looks too. Where was I? Right, I was going to solve both of these problems, right? So this one works. And then I also want to change the keyboard mapping for dialogue skip. And I think I want to allow escape key to work there as well. Let's do that. Let's do them one at a time, and then we'll test them one at a time and make sure they work. Yeah, shaders are... It took me a long time to understand shaders. Dialog box. It took me a long time to understand them. Just because... Like that fragment shader. I mean, the way I think of... The way my brain was thinking of it was... You know, like working in an array, like looping through all the pixels on the screen, right? Doing them one at a time. But the way shaders work is it works on all of them simultaneously. So that fragment is only working on one pixel. It only has access to one pixel. Right? It's only modifying one pixel on the screen. And there's a million other ones that are all modifying the other pixels. It confused me for a long time. You kind of have to change the way you think about things. So in here I should have an input, I think, yeah. Do I have a process? No. Okay. So input is literally all it's doing is it's saying if the pause scene is visible. Thanks, Albert. I'm listening to the OST for Gravity Ace right now. This is by Droopy Music. Lord Droopicus on Twitter. But you can search Gravity Ace on Bandcamp, and you can search Gravity Ace on Spotify. It's on YouTube Music. I think it's on TikTok. He was telling me they put it everywhere. Not all of these songs are the soundtrack. That last one was. This one's not. Let me switch it to just the Gravity Ace soundtrack. Thank you. I should post a link to it. There it is. This is what we're listening to. And this. Yeah, play the hell out of it. Buy the album. Help out Droopy. He would love it. I don't know how much he gets for each play. But if we all played it non-stop. Oh, thanks, Albert. Hey man, no pressure. I do appreciate it, but no pressure. I know there are probably a lot of people waiting for it to come out of early access, I tend to be very cautious myself when I see early access games. All right, where were we? Where were we again? So I think I just want to put in... Let's do this. Let's do this. Okay, so this is functionally the same as what it just was. And let's actually not, let's do this. Let's reverse this one. So you see how I've got these indents, right? This is just a matter of style. But I like to do this, right? And then I don't have to indent that. If it's not visible, just do nothing. Get out of here. And then I can do this other stuff, right? So if interact, then go to next dialogue, or cancel, then go to next dialogue, right? So this is the interact button, which is the X key, and this is the escape key. Yeah, that could work. Let's see how that feels. Let me restart this level. Escape. Perfect. X. Perfect. Escape. Escape. All right, that works. Escape to pause. Escape, escape. I'm being a little more conservative with my changes right now. There are people who've paid money for the game, right? I don't want to break it whenever I update it. So I'm trying to be a little more thoughtful than I have been with the changes I make. Double checking them, triple checking them, that sort of thing. Hey Millennium Blitz, this is Godot 323. 324, I think, is... I can't remember. I think I might be 1 point release behind. And that's because I didn't dare update, you know, the week before at launch. I'm probably going to stay on this 323 branch for a while. Is there any dialogue in this level? Yeah, there's some. Alright, that's where I want to get to. Try and test out this dialogue. So, see what happened there? So the game wasn't paused, right? And the dialogue appeared, and when I hit escape, it didn't just skip the dialogue to the next one. It also paused the game. And there's a dialogue showing here, and if I hit escape again, it's going to make the pause go away, but it's also going to make the dialogue go away. See? So that's a problem. That's a problem. It's almost like I want the escape key... I ran out of fuel. I almost want the escape key to do one thing or the other. Ah, 324 is in beta. Okay, so I am on the latest version then, so I'm good. I'm not going to update to 324. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe I will. I mean, it is early access, right? Anyway, like I said, I'm being more cautious about these sorts of things. I have people depending on me, I guess you could say. What am I going to do? This is why I changed it to be X in the first place, so that the key wouldn't interfere with other keys. Maybe... yeah. I'm excited about 4.0. I'm a little nervous about it too, though. I mean, I kind of wish... I mean, I get why it's happening. But I kind of wish we would just work on stabilizing the code that we have instead of adding new features. That new 3D renderer, though, looks amazing. And, you know, honestly, I will say that the 3D in Godot 3 is not fantastic. It's not for me anyway. Yeah. I mean, I guess, you know, it's a trade-off, right? And I don't mind it. It's just, you know, I'm not complaining. Let me make that clear. I love Godot. I'm not complaining at all. And obviously, it's an open source project, and my problems aren't the community's problems. You know, we're a big group of people, and everybody's got kind of different priorities. It's impossible to make everybody happy. It's fine. If I was king, though, I would say I would kind of wish for 4.0 to come out and just be a 3D enhancement. And then I would love to stay on the 4.0 branch, just making all the features, making the whole engine feature complete, you know, before moving on to something new. I mean, I heard that the last update I saw said that Redoes said he was going to start working on rewriting the 2D stuff, which is fine, again, but it just makes me a little nervous. Just a little nervous, but no biggie. What time is it? Where's my clock? All right. So Pita Bread, my level designer, Peter Doria, he is starting a stream at about 1:30. I'm coordinating with him right now. And the plan is... yeah, it is 1 o'clock, 1 p.m. for me. 1300. So in about 30 minutes, we're going to raid his stream where he's going to be playing Gravity Ace, playing through some of the levels. And we'll see, but I imagine he'll be talking through some of the level design challenges and constraints and principles that guided him, I guess. So if you can stick around, that would be great. We're going to go over to that stream in about 30 minutes. All right. Technology, great. All right. So I think I do like using escape to skip those screens, but maybe Here's my other choices, right? I could use spacebar, right, to skip, except spacebar is used for shooting if you're using mouse and keyboard. And obviously, if you're ignoring the text, shooting should have priority. And maybe you're shooting and you want to glance down and see the dialogue, but you can't because now you've been skipping it while you're shooting. So that doesn't work. And you can't say if a dialogue box is there, don't shoot, because that will just annoy everybody who wants to shoot and ignore the dialogue, right? Oh, is the clock going back for you guys? Hey, Droopy. Thanks, man. We were just talking about the OST a little bit ago. We're playing it right now, obviously. But yeah, if you guys have any questions about the music, he's the man. Oh, what am I going to do with you? Maybe it's okay to not pause the game if there's dialogue appearing. Let's try that and see how it feels. So I would be in the pause scene. And where is it? Where the heck was I just now? Am I losing my mind? Oh, right. I am losing my mind. Here's what I want to change. I don't want to change the pause scene. I want to change this guy, the dialogue box scene. If no, I do want to change the pause scene. So confusing. Here I want to say if you know, if dialogue box, sorry about that, is showing, then return, right? Something like that. Yeah. So my game scene has my main game scene has a dialogue layer. This gets a little complicated. I have dialogue events, right, that can be triggered, and when a dialogue event is triggered, it creates a dialogue box, instances it into the game, removes any existing dialogue, and adds it. Right? So there's only one dialogue box in the game at once. So if the dialogue layer has any children, then I know the dialogue box is there. So this can say if dot child count is greater than 0, then return. If dialogue is showing. I'm not sure I like that, but we'll see. Let's see how it works. So this will reset the dialogues. That's a dialogue event node, right? And it's triggered in this radius, so I just need to fly up to it. Fly up to it, right? And if I hit escape now, it shouldn't pause. Right? It just goes through to the next dialogue, but now it pauses. do you guys think about that? Let me do it again. Just blow you up for kicks. Alright. Gonna go up. Right? Escape. 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 Is it common? I'm not sure. It's funny, you know, being a game developer, you actually don't have much time to actually play games. And when I do play games, I don't really play them. I kind of study them. I think it works. I'm going to play with it a little bit more and see how I feel. Hey, Sko. Thank you. What would happen if you set the input as handled in the pause script? If you set the input as handled in the pause script. That's an interesting idea. The only problem with that is this. Right here, I've got an input event, right? And here, I have an input event, unhandled input, right? And I could say something like, you know, input dot, where is it? Tree. Yeah, right? I could do something like that, right? Is that what you're thinking? The only problem is, when you hit escape, which one of these will get the input first? I don't know. And I don't know that there's any way to guarantee that this one will get it first. All this event-based stuff, right? It's like, it's great coding-wise because it kind of glues things together by magic, right? You don't need to deal with gluing things together manually. But you also lose control a little bit because you don't know what order things are going to happen in. So this might work sometimes. Unhandled input. I don't know. Maybe. Wouldn't it be the other way? Like all the input and GUI input gets handled first, then input gets handled, and then if none of those happen, then unhandled input would happen last? Let's see. I think I've seen something like that in the Godot documentation. Here we go. Yeah, so input gets it first, then GUI input, then unhandled input, then collision objects, physics inputs. This is actually useful then, right? This is useful. Thank you, Sko. I'd forgotten about this. So if this is the order things are happened in, let's think about it. input happens first, then unhandled input. And the reason I go unhandled input is because, oh, it's for exactly this reason. It's for exactly this reason. Because I want to be able to pause when you hit escape, but not if somebody else has used the input already first. So I can delete this, right? Let's try deleting this. Well, let's just comment it out in case I want it back. So in my dialog box, this input event should happen first, right? And if they've pressed escape to advance the dialog, then let's set the input as handled. Right? I've used the escape key. That's what this is saying. This is saying I've used the escape key. No one else can use it. Forget it. Don't pass it to the unhandled input handler. So the pause scene should never get it. Let's see if that works. Kaboom. Dialogue. Okay. Escape. Hey, escape. Escape. Hey. Let's go. High five. Yeah, right. Exactly, Robert. So that's what's happening right now. What do you think? So imagine I'm playing, right? And I want to pause the game. I'm like, dinner! Okay, I'll be there in a second. Right? I had to hit escape 3 times. Maybe? What do we think? Albert's already voted. He thinks it's good. You can change your vote, Albert, if you want to. Let me do it again. Yeah, that's where I'm at too, Robert. You mean the talking, right? Why would people want to dismiss it? It's actually, there's a very vocal group. There are 2 competing philosophies about in-game dialogue. And they basically go like this. One group doesn't mind it. They like it. They think, you know, I want to experience the game, whatever. They're going to read it. And the other group will never read it. They hate it. They know it's not important. And they don't care. They just want it to go away as quickly as possible. And I'll never be able to appease one without pissing off the other. I've taken the stance that dialogue is part of the game. But I'm making it easy to skip. Which is, I think, the stance most games take, right? If a game has dialogue, there's rarely an option in the options settings somewhere that says never show any dialogue. I could add something like that. But that's rare, right? Usually people just go skip, 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 skip. Like right, picture an RPG, right? I'm sure you guys have seen Let's Plays of RPGs where the people are just like skip, 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 skip. All right, now we can play. That's one of the reasons I don't pause the game while the dialogue appears. It's also why a few people have complained that the X button doesn't work for them to skip the dialogue because it makes them take their hands off WASD, right? This is keyboard players. So it's a minority of people who play with mouse and keyboard who also don't like dialogue, don't like the X button, right? A vocal and significant group, and I agree with them. But, you know, I need to balance it, right? I guess it comes down to, you know, if you're playing the game, reset it again. If you're playing the game and you see some dialogue appear, and the escape key does two things, what would you expect it to do here? Would you expect it to pause the game, or would you expect it to skip the dialogue? And maybe the right answer is it should just pause the game. And there should be a separate key for skipping the dialogue. Maybe spacebar, maybe enter key. It can't be left mouse button because that's shooting. It can't be right mouse button because that's the tractor beam. You might be carrying something important. It can't be middle mouse button because nobody knows what the middle mouse button is, right? Nobody's gonna click that. It can't be spacebar because that's also shooting. I could make it something like Q or E for those keyboard players. But then there's a discoverability issue, right? How do you know? I like escape. Escape says what it means, right? Maybe the thing to do here is put this out there and let people decide. Let people tell me, you know, weigh in. Yep. Yep. And the thing is, right, you can't please everybody all the time. And even if you could, it wouldn't matter because people change their minds. People are squishy and complicated. Oof. All right, I'm gonna stew on that a little bit. Let's do this. Let's make sure I'm in my dev branch. I'm not in my dev branch. Let's switch to my dev branch. Can I switch to my dev branch? Yeah, I didn't think so. I have to... Nope. I have to stash all this stuff. Stash. Temp. Then I have to switch to my dev branch. Then I have to unstash. Boom. All right. I don't like this. Sometimes Git, I get it. But Git is complicated sometimes. Who is us and them in this scenario? Is them the master branch, or is them the stash? Us is the dev branch, right? And them is the stash? Let me just copy this and just... I'm gonna be prepared here. Keep theirs. Okay, yeah, theirs was the stash. That's programmers being too clever, trying to be economical with words, and it would be better if they just said, I think. Would you like to keep the version that was in this branch that you deleted before? Or would you like to have use the one from the stash that you just unstashed? Just, you know, don't make me think too much. So I don't need this one. That was just from me showing you guys the pause scene. And I don't need this guy. This is from just going into the editor. Every time I go into the editor, it does a little bit of, it makes a little bit of noise. See this? See these vectors? This position of the reactor core changed. These floating point numbers changed. Insignificant, but they did change. One of these numbers in here changed. Whatever it is, it's the same type of thing, right? There's just a little bit of floating point jitter that happens every time I edit a level, even if I don't change or move anything. I've been thinking about a way to combat that, but it's not simple. It's not a straightforward thing. Anyway, so I can just throw that away. I'm not going to fix it right now. This one, I think, yeah, I want to keep that, right? That's my pause, where I handle the input in the dialog box so that the pause doesn't happen. And here is my key mapping change, right? I added escape key to the pause. This I don't need anymore. Oh, I can't delete it there. It's funner to delete it here anyway. Alright, so those should be identical now. What is this? Notes? Oh, yeah, notes. Okay. Escape key pauses. And didn't I do two things? Oh yeah. And escape key advances dialog. In my dev branch. All right. Yeah, I think what I'm going to do is just deploy this, put it out on Steam, and see what people make of it. That was interesting, wasn't it? The Hive Time thing, if you guys weren't aware of it, I just bought the game, actually. Hive Time is it's like a SimCity style game, I guess, but you're building a beehive. It's a cool concept. He launched it in December of last year. It's been out for 10 months. And he wrote this great piece. Does anybody have the link to that? Here it is. No, that's the game. Well, nuts. I'll find it somewhere. You know what? I twittered it. I Twitter liked it. I tweeta liked it.
He's very brave and very open and very frank about Hive Time and how it did. His philosophy for why he released it is pay what you want, and all the trials and tribulations that flowed from that. Really interesting to read. I recommend it. It's a long piece, but worth the time. And Cheese uses Godot, and he's also a sometimes writer for gamingonlinux.com. Cool dude. I've talked to him a little bit. I think he's in Australia. But just, it's kind of like the whole, it's a lot of, indie apocalypse. I mean, not so much per se that, but, the challenges of standing out as an indie developer right now, the financial considerations you have to make, the whole pay what you want pricing and how that worked for him. And he goes into it all. It's an interesting talk. Look at that. That is awesome. So I bought the game, and I haven't played it yet. I just bought it today. But yeah, everybody should go check it out. I don't need, hey Robert, so do I need the accuracy of the floats for the levels? I do not. And in fact, in the game, every position of everything is put on an actual pixel. There's a setting in Godot somewhere that makes everything map to a pixel. I don't know where it is. It's in here somewhere. So in theory, yes, I could snap everything to the nearest pixel and we'd be good to go. Excuse me. I've tried it once before, and it turns out to be actually really, really complicated. There's a lot of code that I've written for manipulating vertices of the cave walls, and some cave walls have 500 vertices. That's the limit right now, but some of them do have very close to that limit, and in a lot of levels there can be several of them. So we're talking thousands and thousands of these vertices that need to be fixed, right? Every time you do a rotation or a movement. And it gets tricky because there's a performance issue. I thought about doing it maybe only when you save, but then there's an issue where things can be sort of out of alignment from where you saw them on the screen. There were other issues. As well. So I ended up scrapping that because what I thought started out as a simple fix turned into a can of worms. You know how that goes. I do think I still want to deal with it in some way, but I'm not sure how. And so far, it only really bothers me because I'm the only one committing my levels to source control. If you're making your own levels, it probably doesn't matter, And even for me, I just know I can spot the noise, right? And I can just throw the commit away. I don't need it. But even if I did commit it, that would be fine too. It doesn't matter. So it's one of those things where it would be a convenience to me to fix it, but beyond that, it doesn't actually have any practical use for anybody else. You know what I mean? Albert, how long have I been using the Godot engine? I've been using it since 2.1, I think. I don't know when that came out. I've been working on this game since 2018. So it's been a while. And before that, I didn't start programming in 2018. I've been programming for just a long, long time. See this gray? I've been programming for a while. Um, yeah, I've been programming for a while. I do love Godot. It's a great engine. I like all the neat things you can do with it. I like how quickly it works, you know? I can just type some stuff in and the game's still running, and I just flip over to it and there it is. I didn't need to do anything. I was using a language called Hax before, just before I switched to Godot, actually. Or, no, I think just before Godot I was using Phaser pretty heavily, JavaScript. And that was fine, except it got really tedious, you know, because there's no editor, and you know, placing everything in code just got tiresome. It's kind of limiting. It's slow, right? And before that, I was using a language called Hax, which was pretty cool because it's a object-oriented, you know, nice language to work in. Very fast compile times, and it compiled to Flash, which was pretty neat. You know, a few years ago. It's not as neat anymore. But yeah, Godot just kind of seemed like a natural fit, you know. Unity traumatized you. That's funny. Yeah, I get why. Unity has, I mean, you know, Godot's not a simple software to use, but I think it is simpler than Unity, right? It's smaller. There's less options, I guess. I don't know. I haven't really used Unity very much. Yeah, that's not a bad idea, Robert. It's just the performance issue again, you know, iterating through every point in an array and thousands of them every time you save and load. I don't know. Maybe. I might have to introduce something like a spin dialog or something, progress meter, every time you save and load, just to show people the game's not hung or something, you know, while it takes a second to do it. It's a possibility, for sure. For now, I'm just going to ignore it and complain to you guys about it. So Peter has said that he's about ready. You ready, Peter? So what I'm going to do is set up this raid, and we're going to go watch PETA. There he is. We're going to go watch PETA play some Gravity Ace. All right, guys. Here we go. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you next time.